oh boy do we have a lot of news to go over. Hey, what's up everyone, it's SpeedSuperSonic bringing you guys another video. In this video today, a lot is going on in the Sonic the Hedgehog world right now, and that's thanks to the Las Vegas Licensing Expo taking place right now. If you guys aren't aware what this is, every single year Sega attends this place. They have to. Sonic is one of the biggest licensing brands in the world right now, collaborating with a bunch of different brands and selling billions of dollars in merchandise a year. Sega is going to continue to promote their cash cow, if you will, and that has led to some brand new looks into the future and what Sega is prioritizing and what we have to look forward to. That includes first looks and new little teases at some of the most anticipated upcoming Sonic projects and events, including Sonic Movie 4 and the Sonic the Hedgehog 35th anniversary, which is next year. Not just that, but a brand new marketing campaign was just announced for the year with a big emphasis on Red Bull. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. Starting off with what I'm sure a lot of you guys are interested in, and that is Sonic Movie 4. Now, of course, Sonic Movie 4 hasn't even started rolling cameras yet, but that doesn't mean that they don't already have things planned for it. With the movie releasing in spring of 2027, you need to start getting merchandise prepared. You need to start reaching out to people to collaborate on the project, specifically licensees. We saw how much merchandise we got with Sonic Movie 3, and I'm sure it's going to be just as large for 4. So there's this image right here showing off the Sonic Movie 4 logo with the little tease of being in theaters in 2027, which is very, very exciting. Of course, this is the only thing that was shown. Like I said, the cameras haven't started rolling. There's not too much you can show off or anything that they can necessarily even say about it, because I don't even think the film is necessarily that far along in the filmmaking department, the story, any of that. We know it's been in pre-production for a good bit now, but definitely some time to wait on getting some more juicy, interesting things in regards to the movie. I say we have to wait until next year for that, or at least at the very tail end of this year. I think filming can start probably in late 2025, early 2026 at the latest. The next biggest thing I know a lot of people are excited for is the 35th anniversary teaser. We've already kind of seen these images. The logo is a little bit new. It's slightly altered from what we got in the leaked calendar featuring this same render. This now sporting a green Chaos Emerald, but once again, I do really like this render. I know there's been a lot of Sonic render discourse. I might even make a video on that, but this is still really cool to see because I think Sonic's 35th anniversary is going to be very massive. Sega has already announced that they are in deep plans for the 35th anniversary, plotting everything out, which is really, really exciting. Like we talked about in the video from earlier this week, which if you haven't seen yet, go check that out. We talk about all things Sonic Frontiers 2. I believe that we're going to be getting the Sonic Frontiers sequel follow-up game, whether it's called Frontiers 2 or not, next year in the 35th anniversary. So I think you have that to look forward to, and a lot of other really, really cool things. I think it's going to be a massive year. We already saw how big the 30th anniversary merchandising campaign was. I think the 35th is going to be just as big, with the franchise getting even bigger since the 30th anniversary came out. Remember, the place Sonic was at before then, Sonic Movie 2 wasn't out. We didn't have Sonic Frontiers yet, Sonic the Shadow Generations, Movie 3, obviously. Like, it was a very different time for Sonic even back then. So I think we're going to get a lot more stuff for the 35th. And I think that's why they're promoting it here, is because it's going to be so big for the brand. And speaking of campaigns, Sega recently has announced their Racing Around the World campaign, I believe is what it's called. They released a trailer. I actually haven't seen it yet. I've just seen some images floating around online. I want to go take a look at it right now. We're going to do a little trailer reaction to what they have to show, and then I'll give my thoughts on it shortly after, because I already know of an opinion I'm going to have, unless something in this trailer really changes my mind that I want to get off my chest. So let's take a look. Alright. Let's see. Sonic Speed Training Course. Why'd they give the coordinates? They're leaking their stuff. Okay. American Rally guy. That's cool. Good for him. I don't watch motorsports. I think it's quite boring. Excited for F1 though. I'm gonna go watch that. Shout out Brad Pitt. Got a map. Okay. Okay, I own one of those. There's the mascot costume. Have they changed that a bit? I feel like they've altered the mascot costume a little bit. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. Alright, they're driving. So, this is like, I've heard about the Red Bull collab. We talked about it earlier in the video. Interested in how that's gonna work out. Like, if it's Sonic on Red Bulls, like, I don't know what they're gonna do for it. If they're gonna have a Sonic decal car? I don't know. I mean, it's shot well, it looks cool, you know? Yeah, you got the Racing Around the World thing. Alright. Yeah, I don't worry guys, I will give some interesting commentary once this is wrapped up, because unless they show something specific, I don't know. Alright, so they're playing into the Crossroads thing. Okay, I did see this. I did see these images. I think this is really interesting, because it's like this really realistic looking Green Hill Zone, and then there's just like Yeah, Sonic's friends, like Knuckles is right there. And Rouge. Followed up right there. You got Shadow. And this just makes me really want like a new show, you know what I'm saying? I doubt it would look like this. I'm sure this would be way too expensive for them to do. But I still think it looks pretty cool. We'll talk about a new Sonic show at some point. Alright. They're racing alright. Okay. It's well made, I'll say that. It's not bad. This isn't like awful at all. It's still cool. And then, yeah, racing around the world. So, yeah, try to keep up. I will, Sega. So that was the trailer, and here's a little more concrete info on what exactly Racing Around the World is, because that didn't really provide too much. Join us in 2025 for an exciting celebration of racing around the world dedicated to fans everywhere. Together we'll set the pace, fuel our passion for speed, and accelerate the competition. It's a thrilling, high-octane ride filled with countless adventures and electrifying moments throughout the year. Buckle up and be sure to check out the news section below for updates as the Racing Around the World campaign unfolds. Seems like they've teamed up with Red Bull simply to launch this campaign and do that little trailer, which is cool, I guess. They've announced a merchandise line. Sonic Racing Crossworlds kind of plays into this with the whole, you know, it being a racing game. And then it seems like there's going to be something coming to Sonic Speed Simulator soon. Okay, oh boy. Here's what I want to talk about though. As I'm sure you guys are aware, over the past few years, Sega has launched now 3 different year-long marketing campaigns. There was Fast Friends Forever, there was the Year of Shadow, Fearless, or whatever they called it, and now there is Racing Around the World. And if I'm being brutally honest here, I don't know what the these things are for. To this day, I don't know what Fast Friends Forever actually produced or did. Fearless was like this really weird trailer about like kids getting bullied, but they just imagined Shadow was there and then they were all fine. It was a weird trailer. I didn't understand what they were going for there. The biggest thing I saw them do with the Fearless campaign was bringing the Shadow motorcycle around to different kind of events, and it was like, okay. And now there's the Racing Around the World campaign, and I really genuinely don't know what we're gonna see from this for the rest of the year. These year-long campaigns really confuse me. They don't really do too much in the terms of marketing. It's kind of just like a declaration of, okay, this year for Sonic, we're going to be focusing on this aspect of the franchise. I think it makes a bigger deal of itself than it actually is, and it gets fans a little excited when they announce this, just to not really receive too much from it throughout the year. You never know, maybe Racing Around the World will come and surprise me, and there will actually be stuff that comes from it and does things to market and push the franchise forward. But it just kind of seems like a half-baked marketing attempt for the Sonic social media. Don't get me wrong, the trailer was cool, I liked it a lot, but just based off of these past year of things or marketing campaigns, they just haven't done much. And before anybody says, oh, the Year of Shadow was big, you know, it was going to be a Year of Shadow regardless. Without that campaign, if you remove that, you still have Sonic Prime Season 3, which heavily features Shadow. You still have Sonic Movie 3, obviously. You still have Sonic X Shadow Generations releasing. The year would have felt just as massive without that trailer and them bringing his bike around to different, sporting events they did. Don't get me wrong, the bike was cool. But yeah, I think the Sega blows these a little too much out of proportion. It's cool, I like the new renders, I like the trailers, there's some fanfare there which is exciting, but Inc. has provided a little info on what we can expect from this Racing Around the World campaign. Sonic the Hedgehog is taking a well-deserved victory lap following the brand's massively successful 2024 and is bringing Red Bull along for the ride. Sega, the Japanese video game giant behind the Sonic brand, has announced the start of a new year-long campaign called Racing Around the World. The campaign, which will culminate in the release of a new game, Sonic Racing Crossworlds, will see the super fast Hedgehog collaborate with some of the most iconic names in racing, starting with Red Bull mountain biker and stunt driver Brandon. I'm not going to do that, I'm sorry. Brandon. Sega and Brandon created a short Sonic-themed stunt racing film in which Brandon races against Sonic on a dirt road through a dense forest. In a reference to the upcoming game, which features cross-dimensional travel, Brandon drives through a portal into Sonic's animated world. The stunt film features several other Sonic Easter eggs, from collectible golden rings to the victory music that plays near the end of the video. The news of it, Sega's follow-up to Fearless, the Year Year of Shadow, a 2024 marketing campaign that celebrated the resurgence of fan favorite character Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow featured heavily in the film Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which grossed over $490 million, and in the recent game Sonic X Shadow Generations, which sold over 2 million copies. The series' growth is most evident in its licensing revenue, which has increased more than 10 times since the first Sonic movie released in 2020. You're welcome, Sega. Now, according to Sega, the Sonic the Hedgehog licensing business generates over $1 billion annually in revenue for Sega, its licensing partners such as BioWorld and Rowing Blazers, and retailers. That licensing growth has seen a boon for Sega, which recently stated in its fiscal year 2025 annual report that licensing revenue, nearly all of which is attributable to Sonic, contributed 13.3 billion yen, which is $91.8 million, to the company's total revenue of 428.9 billion yen, which is $2.97 billion. The licensing revenue has more than doubled since the official year of 2022, when it totaled just 5.7 billion yen, which is 39.3 million. Want proof of the series' resurgence? Just take a walk down the street and keep an eye out for a spiky blue hedgehog plastered on kids' t-shirts, shoes, and toys. You see the merch everywhere, says Marcella Churchill, Sega's VP of brand marketing. Churchill has worked with the Sonic brand on and off since 2007. Back then, she says licensing was a minuscule part of Sega's business, and the company was almost entirely focused on selling games. Now, following the massive success of movies, Churchill's team is focused on selling Sonic as an always-on brand that keeps fans constantly engaged with games, movies, TV shows, comic books, toys, pop-up restaurants, streetwear collabs, and more. Churchill's team plans yearly campaigns like Racing Around the World and Year of Shadow, which bring together content from across the Sonic ecosystem to tell one overarching brand story. Tactics like this, she adds, are what have allowed for the business to really take off. Churchill says she's already deep in the planning stages for next year's campaign, which will celebrate Sonic's 35th anniversary. While planning this year's campaign, Churchill identified Red Bull, which briefly collaborated with Sonic in 2024, as a perfect partner, and not just because of its famous racing operations. Churchill says that the key to making a great pitch for a brand collaboration is understanding how the brands best intersect. For example, the major themes of the new racing-focused campaign are speed, attitude, and going above and beyond, all qualities Churchill sees in the fearlessness of Red Bull Racing's athletes, particularly Brandon, an old-school Sonic fan who competes professionally in both mountain biking and rally racing. Sega says it will continue revealing more brand collaborations as the Sonic Racing Crossroads release date nears, which we still don't know, but Churchill has vindicated that Sonic has proved itself to be a transmedia powerhouse. Sonic is just having a huge moment, she says. Not even a moment, a movement. And that's kind of where it cuts off there. I know that was quite extensive, but yes, Sonic has been doing great. We've acknowledged that. We've been talking about that forever now. It's been doing great, but I'm sorry, I can't attribute it towards these little social media marketing campaigns. I don't think they shouldn't exist, but saying like one of the reasons why Sonic is so big right now is because of the Fast Friends Forever campaign is a little ridiculous. I feel like you could entirely remove these campaigns from the brand, and the year would probably go on exactly the same with the same level of anticipation for all these upcoming projects. I don't feel like these brand crossovers are intrinsically tied to this racing around the world thing. I think Sonic could have collaborated with Red Bull regardless of it. But hey, we'll see what comes from it. I've just wanted to be a generational hater for a little bit because I'm always way too positive and people complain about that. So those are the updates from the Licensing Expo. I'm sure this video is honestly probably gone on way longer than I anticipated it to, so let's go ahead and toss it over to you guys. What do you think about everything that's coming from the Licensing Expo? Are you guys excited for Sonic Movie 4 and the Sonic 35th anniversary coming up and all the news in regards to that probably kicking off next year? Also, what do you think about the Racing Around the World campaign? Are you excited for it? Are you intrigued by it at all? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'd love to know what you guys have to say. Free to follow my social media links, my Twitter, and Instagram in the description below. You can follow this by 6 of my life, and don't think Sonic the Hedgehog. But most importantly, if you're not subscribed, make sure that you're subscribed. This is the #1 destination on YouTube for all things Sonic, whether it's video games, TV shows, movies, comics, merchandise, and more. We talk about it all. Things are kind of heating up a little bit for Sonic right now. It was kind of dead for a while, but we have so many videos in the works, not just with news, but video essays and all of different kind of original stuff. I can't wait for you guys to see. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Right by the motherfucking seaside, dog. Everything I see, I got a dream. I thought these leaves would go and take me out the dark. I know everything I wanted to far away.